Thin gravy, this is 5 ways to thicken your sauce. Number 1 is going to be a basic roux. In a separate pan, add some butter. Once the butter is melted, add in your flour. Once your roux starts resembling wet sand, you can start adding your thin sauce. Add a ladle at a time, mix to remove all the lumps. Once you have a thick paste, add some more. Keep adding more of your thin sauce until you've got your perfect desired consistency. There you have it, nice thick gravy. Next up is similar but slightly different, a beurre manié, basically like a roux, but instead of adding sauce to the butter and flour mix, you add the butter and flour to the sauce. So take your softened butter and add in an equal quantity of flour. Use the back of your spoon to incorporate the flour into the butter. Roughly speaking, about 50 grams should thicken about 2 litres of gravy. Once it comes to the boil, add your beurre manié and whisk vigorously. Reduce it to a gentle simmer to cook out the flour just slightly. You should have a beautiful thick gravy. The next method is probably the easiest, cornstarch slurry. Take your gravy, bring your sauce that you're trying to thicken to the boil, then you're gonna add around about 20 grams per 500 millilitres of sauce, but obviously this depends on how thick you want it. Add your cornstarch to a bowl, add a small amount of the liquid you're thickening to the cornstarch, stir it off the heat until you see no lumps whatsoever. Add this back to the sauce on a very low temperature and lightly bring it up, whisking. Just don't add all of it because you'll be able to get a good feeling of how thick it is at this point. Just slowly stir it and bring it to the boil just to cook some of that starch off. So a good thing about the cornstarch is it doesn't affect the colour too much, but it does alter the texture slightly. Ultimately though, you'll get a really nice thick glossy sauce. Next one, and one of my personal favourites, is ground arrowroot. 20 grams for 2 litres of sauce. The really unique thing about this is what Raymond Blanc at Le Manoir swears by. Exactly like the corn flour, you want to take a portion out, add a small amount to the arrowroot. So this is our slurry, and then we're just going to add that into our gravy whilst whisking. Whisk until all of that arrowroot's been dissolved into the sauce. Compared to the corn flour, it's got an incredibly clean flavour. So you should get this really nice, thick, shiny sauce. The last one is probably the most common thing that you'll see in restaurants, xanthan gum. Xanthomonies is actually a bacteria that basically consumes sugars and creates this modified thickener. Goes in, and then we whisk vigorously. So you should get a really nice thick sauce from this. And at this stage, if you've got any lumps, you can either pass it off or just blend with a stick blender. If you want to avoid the lumps, you can do something called a pre-high, which is basically adding water to the xanthan before you add it into the mix. But most restaurants just add in a pinch. So this will leave you with a really beautiful, thick sauce.